Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. So today's Friday, and I usually try to get out some type of shop-oriented video on Fridays, but unfortunately, you guys are going to get stuck with an odds and ends this Friday, for a couple reasons. First off, last weekend I was out at the Barcy's Summer Bash out in Rancho Cucamonga, California, along with a bunch of the other YouTube creators, and just didn't have time to work in the shop. So spent basically my weekend traveling. Had a great time, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that and some of the stuff we picked up at the Barcy Bash here in a minute. But also on Monday, I got home on Sunday, and Monday I was actually out working in the shop on the blonde lathe restoration, and had a little mishap, guys. I had a wire wheel. I was cleaning up some parts, and my finger got nicked by the wire wheel right across the top of my knuckle, and it was just enough to put a nice little deep gash through there. It wasn't that bad of a wound, but because it was right on top of the knuckle, and every time I bend my knuckle it was pulling the skin, it was never going to heal up very well. So I looked at it, decided, yeah, I probably just need to go get a couple of stitches put in this thing. Which I really hate to do. I haven't had stitches since I was probably 10 years old. And so anyway, we went to town and they put 3 stitches in there. It's healing up nice, doesn't even hurt, but I've really been trying to protect it, keep it clean, and what I'm doing out in the shop is pretty messy work and pretty aggressive work. So we're gonna give this a few more days to kind of heal up a little bit better before I jump back on the lathe. But we are making progress getting all the paint stripped off of that, and hopefully you get a video coming up on that this coming Friday. I'm going to do my best. That's all I'm going to say. So with that, we're going to do an odds and ends episode, and I need to do one anyway. If you look around me on my bench here, I've got a lot of stuff. So some of this is things that we picked up at the Barcy Bash. Some of this stuff is some things that have come in the mail in the last week or two, but it's piling up, and I need to work through it and get this put up where we can use it and get my bench cleared back off again. And greatly appreciate everybody that sent stuff in. So let's get you zoomed in here. I think we'll start with some stuff from the bash. So first off, a little bit, I guess, about the bash itself. If you've been watching my channel, you're watching the other machinist YouTube channels, I'm sure you probably heard of the Barcy Summer Bash, but this is an opportunity out in California where, I don't know, there was probably 15 or 20 YouTube creators who made the effort to come out to this from all over the country, actually all over the world, to just have an opportunity to meet up with fans and do a little bit of machine shop oriented stuff, and it was a great time. I really had a blast. I got out on Friday. Mike Wiggins over at the Backyard Machine Shop, who doesn't live too far from me here in Georgia, 2 of us got on the same plane, rode out, and actually rented a car and drove up to Rancho Cucamonga for the weekend, and we both had just a really good time. One of the best highlights to me is just the opportunity to be able to meet and interact with you guys, my fans, who there was about 300 people that showed up for the event. And on Stan's property, he's got a nice place, and but it was crowded with 300 people on there, and it was a lot of fun to me because I couldn't hardly walk across any place without getting stopped by someone and say, hey man, I watch your channel, I love it. And just being able to have those face-to-face conversations, being able to put a face with a name. A lot of the people, I recognize their name from making comments on the channel or what have you, but never had the chance to meet. Some of them I had a chance to meet last year and got to reacquaint with them again. So awesome time. They had a bunch of people who sponsored the event, had a ton of giveaways, raffle giveaways, some of which I actually won a few things that we're going to talk about here in a minute. Big long list of sponsors who helped sponsor that. Just unbelievable event. And to Stan Zinkowski over there, Shaden HKW on YouTube, he's the one that put all this together. My hat's off to you, Stan. You did it. You went over the top, dude. And man, I really appreciate it. So let's get in here. We'll talk about some of the items, both gifts and door prizes that we picked up at the Barcy Bash. So these are in no particular order, guys. I'm just grabbing them off the table here and going, but first thing on top of the pile is this nice little challenge coin. And I don't remember, I bet if you watch over on Stan's channel, he'll tell you a little bit more about these, but these are actually made by a viewer to give away to the creators at the event. And it looks like it's made out of brass. It's done on a CNC mill, it looks like. It's got the Bar Z logo on there, Bar Z Summer Bash 2016 on the back. It's got the little logo or the saying from the event. Very nice little challenge coin. And I've got a couple other of these that people have sent me, and I'm going to put all these together. I've got a little collection of these going here lately. Let's see, another item here. This is pretty cool. So Danny Metzger, who lives up in Alaska, actually came all the way down. And Danny actually purchased this for me. So some of you guys may recognize this little gadget. This is something that's made by Randy Richard. Randy Richard's in the shop, another YouTube creator. And it's actually engraved. Randy Richards in the shop. It's got a serial number, it looks like, and then Summer Bash 2016, he actually put my name on there. But what this is made out of brass. The top unscrews, and when you do, you pull it out, and you can turn this around. And this is a carbide scribe for scribing on your metal. And Randy makes these and sells these over on his shop. Very nice little item. And I am just tickled to have one of these. So this will get put in the box. You know, when I'm doing layout work, this will be really sweet to be able to use. So thank you to Dan as well as Randy for doing that. And Dan actually went another step further and gave me this. I'm going to zoom y'all in a little bit tighter so y'all can see that. So again, Dan lives up in Alaska, and he actually does a lot of work with the Native Americans up there. As part of his job. And as he's out in these villages, a lot of them make these beautiful pieces of art, and he has purchased some, and he gave some to a couple of the creators, and I was privileged enough to be in the group that he gave these to. So what this is actually off of what did he say it was off of? I don't remember what animal, but it's got the claw here and then some bone, and they basically went in and carved a polar bear's head on the end of this. Just an absolutely really neat piece of local folk art made by the Native Americans. It has a person's name engraved in the bottom that made it. Just really neat. So thank you very much, Dan. This is really cool. I love this kind of stuff. You know, this is, you know, that's the real deal. That's, you know, made by Native Americans in Alaska, piece of Native American art. Very cool. Thank you. So the next item here, this is a gift that came from Bruce Whitman. Bruce is a YouTube creator, does a lot of really cool things. I think his specialty is kind of getting broken bolts and stuff out of pieces. Amazing guy, unbelievable talents in what he can do. But he is from Perth, Australia. In fact, there's his logo. He had some stickers made up and gave me one. So, Bruce brought along some of these Engineer's Black books, which I've never seen this particular book, and it's really a really cool reference book. If you're in a machine shop, everybody ought to have one of these. You know, I've got a copy of Machinery's Handbook, which I refer to all the time. But it's that thick, and little bitty pages, and there's a lot of information in there. And basically, what is in this is a lot of the same information that's in Machinery's Handbook, but it's probably just the most common reference stuff. It's just got all kinds of information in here you just can't imagine. There's thread pitches, a lot of threading information. Here's drill bit information, angles and what have you, stuff about bandsaw blades. There's some geometry for laying out parts. Really neat stuff. Here's information on different collets and adapters, different tapers for different machines, stuff that you're always just needing. And it's in a really nice little book here. These pages are thick pages. They're actually a coated page, so if you get grease on your fingers, it's not going to stain the paper. It'll wipe off. It's not really laminated per se. One of the neat things I like about it, I get asked all the time about inserts and what do the numbers mean on the inserts. So it's got a whole section in here just talking about different inserts and what the different letters and numbers mean, how to decipher them and figure out what you need, this is information that, you know, I'm always going to the internet trying to look it up. So now I got a neat little book, because my machinery's handbooks are so old they don't have a lot of insert stuff in them. But really cool. You know, this book comes from Australia, but you can get it in the US. This is actually a USA edition. In fact, if you look right here on the front page, USA distributor, if you go to www.engineersblackbook.com, you can order these. And I would encourage anybody out there who is working in the machine shop, this is a great little reference. And Bruce, thank you for number one, giving me one of these to take home, but number two, just introducing it to me, because it's really a very nice reference piece that I guarantee you I will be using all the time. So, and Bruce, what a pleasure it was to meet you. Bruce he's a lot of fun to be around. So Bruce, thanks a lot. I really enjoyed our time together. So in addition to the machinist book there, the black book that Bruce gave me, he also presented me with this cool little item. So some of you guys may know what this is. See, the top screws off, got a pipe thread on the bottom, a hollow on the inside. This is a grease cup that you would see on old machinery all the time. You don't hardly see these anymore. This kind of predates the grease gun, but what you would do is you would pack this thing with grease. It'd be on a fitting, and what you could do is just go by every now and then and give this thing a little turn, and it would screw down, and it would press the grease that's in the cup down into what you're working on. So it was just a little not really self greaser, but you know, a little mechanical greaser. And again, you saw this on old machinery all the time. He thought we could use it out in the museum, which we definitely can. We've actually got some old steam engines and things like that use these, and these are kind of hard to find. So, and this one came all the way from Australia. So Bruce, thanks very much. I will get that out to the museum and put it into our inventory of spare parts, which we have a lot of, and it will, I'm sure, get used somewhere, someday, somehow. Thanks a lot. Next item here, and I have to ask for apologies. I did not write down who gave this to me, and my brain just does not remember who gave this to me. So whoever it is, send me a note just so I'll know. And I apologize for just not remembering. I met so many people in such a short period of time, and I have a tough time with names anyway. But anyway, this was an item that was given to me by one of my viewers. And this is a little Starrett little index. You know, and it's kind of interesting because it has a few feeler pieces in here. You know, there's 15 thousandths, 10 thousandths. What is that? 6 thousandths. I can't quite read it on the glare. Yeah, 6 thousandths, 12 thousandths, 1/8 of an inch, or 1/16 of an inch, but it got some feeler gauges there. But in addition to that, it's got these things. So this is a little wire gauge. So you can check wire gauges, or gauges of wire, or it may even be it doesn't say if that's a wire gauge or a sheet metal gauge. A lot of times it's the same. But anyway, for checking thicknesses of metal, actually it's in thousandths of an inch, so it's not really gauges. So you can put this on here and like take a little piece of thin material and check and see what the thickness is. And then this here is another thickness gauge. So what you would do with this is, if you look, it's tapered, and you stick that down in a crack or a gap, and you can read the fractions here. You know, as it goes down, you can look and see how thick that piece is. And you know, basically each one of these lines is a 1/64 of an inch, and it goes from 1/64 up to 3/16. So pretty cool little item. This is made by Starrett. So number 245 for the Starrett collectors out there. Pretty neat little item, so thanks a lot. Up next, some raffle items that we won while we were out at the bash. So every year Stan sells raffle tickets to help kind of fund things, and I bought a bunch of raffle tickets and was fortunate enough to have my name called out 3 times. First item here is 5C collet block set. So brand new in the box. You got the hex, there's a square here, I'm not even going to pull them out of the wrappers right now. There's a little collet closer. So we'll take one out here. So the way you would use these is you can take a 5C collet and put it up in here and tighten it up, and it will basically hold whatever size collet you got in there with that size stock. It can be round stock, hex stock, square stock, just depends on what collet that you have. But these are really handy, like this hex one here. If you need to mill a hex head on a item, like on a nut or something like that, you can put the collet in there, put this on here, and put this in your vise and just go around and around, and it will be properly spaced things to mill a hex head. And there's a square in here as well. And also, you know, the square one is good for just general work holding for that matter. So if you just need to hold a piece in the vise, you can use the square block, and it's really good for that. So this is pretty cool. I think the hex piece, I don't know that I got the whole, I know I don't have the closer on mine because I made a little piece on it. So, but still, this is a nice complete set. It's actually better than the one that I have over there. So very nice to have this, and it'll be a nice addition to the shop. So I think everybody kind of had a laugh when I won these two books here. This was together, some books on CNC operation. They said, yeah, the manual machine guy wins a CNC books, but actually I'm pretty excited about this. Even though I don't really have anything CNC, I'm not by any means against CNC in any form or fashion. In this modern day, and then particularly in production environments, CNC is the way to go. For doing a lot of the stuff like I do, one-off parts, doing repairs and maintenance work, being able to run a manual machine is really the way to do a lot of that, I think, and a lot more efficient in a lot of cases. Just go make something than just have to go draw it up, program it, test it out on your CNC machine, and so on and so on. But still, I'm interested in CNC. I've actually got a project coming up that we're probably going to utilize CNC on, and I'm going to be involved in that, and I need to do a little homework, so these are going to come in handy. I'm not by any means probably going to be getting much CNC stuff in my shop, although I don't rule it out completely. I'm toying with that right now on the big Monarch lathe, maybe trying to convert the tracing attachment to CNC. We'll see. I just don't know yet, but very nice nonetheless, and look forward to having these in the library and giving them a good read. Also in the raffle, I got a set of these Niagara end mills. I actually got another set of these that were sent to me from Niagara, but I'm kind of pumped to have an extra set because these are definitely handy and things that will get used. These are all carbide, and additionally there was some sample inserts here. Chrome is the new black. This is a Seco inserts that they had given us some to try out. So, and that's the size I can use. So, some nice tooling as well that we picked up in the raffle. Well, this video is getting kind of long, and I've still got some other stuff here, that viewer mail that's sent in, but I think what I want to do is change gears here a little bit. I think we're going to let the Bar Z Bash video stuff kind of go out as a standalone odds and ends, and we'll probably do another odds and ends here in another week or so, and go over some of this viewer mail. I'm probably going to go ahead and shoot it while I'm out here, but we're going to split these up because I know this is getting long already. So with that, just again want to send out my gratitude to Stan for the great job you did at the bash. Man, you're gonna need to sleep for a week to get over this thing. But it was an awesome time. I've also got a few other items that I picked up at the bash that were too big for me to carry back on the airplane. So Stan's has already got. I boxed them up, most of it anyway, and he's going to be shipping some stuff back to me. So hopefully here in a couple of weeks when Stan recovers and can get that stuff in the mail to me, we'll have a few other things from the bash to share with you. But it was a great trip. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed getting to hang out with all the different YouTube creators, as well as the fans and the viewers that came by and stopped. Overwhelming, I think, is probably the best adjective I can use to describe the event. Man, the day just flew by, and it was over before I knew it, and when it was over, it's like it was just a blur. it was just a great time. So thanks a lot, guys. And with that, we will sign off on this episode, and we'll be back with you soon. Hopefully have you some updates on the lathe restoration real soon. We'll have another odds and ends video coming up soon. And thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Talk to you later.